this is the process of how flipping diabetic test strips goes, and how this whole thing works, right? So we got you. We got the seller, all right? We got you, and we got the buyer, all right? So what we're doing is we're going to put out marketing, right? So you're going to put out marketing. You're going to put out marketing that's going to get the seller to want to sell to you, right? And this is all this business is just marketing. All right. And we're trying to get the seller who has unused supplies and unexpired supplies to sell to us. Diabetic supplies. Okay. And they're going to call us, right? They're going to call us from response to our marketing. They're going to call us with these supplies. And they're going to say, hey, I have these supplies, or hey, I seen your marketing and I see that you want, you're looking to buy our supplies, right? And we're going to give them an offer. Our offer for their supplies is going to be based on what our buyer pays. All right. So based on what our buyer pays is what we're going to offer the seller, but we're going to make an offer a little bit less. So for example, if buyer pays 60 for a specific supply, because the buyer's buying over 60 to 100 supplies, right? So we'll just talk about one supply that the buyer's buying, one diabetic supply. All right. Say this seller, the buyer is paying 60. We will offer the seller $60. So basically, we are offering example offer right here. All right. Between 20 to $40, I would say. All right. So buyer pays 60. We're gonna offer seller 20 to $40. All right. Once we buy that from the seller, our profit, if we offer 20 to the seller and the buyer is paying 60, then our profit is 40. Okay. Very simple. Oh man, I lost that. Okay. So if we offer 20 to the seller and the buyer's paying 60 from us, then our profit is 40. Seller seller might have multiple boxes though, right? Seller might have 5 boxes and we are paying 20 each, but selling to the buyer for 60 each. Then our total profit is let me make sure I got my math right. 40 times 5, $200. So basically, we made $200 off the seller for 5 minutes of work, right? Now, what we're also going to do is, we're going to meet the seller, buy their supplies, right? Then, say a week later, let's say 1 week later, we met 5 sellers, 5 sellers, and say, for example, we had the same situation for all 5 sellers. So 5 sellers times times $200, right, is about 1,000, I believe. $1,000 profit. We spent $100 on each seller, right? Because remember, one seller, we paid $20 for this seller's boxes. They had 5 boxes, so we gave the seller total $100. So we gave the seller $100 to make $200. All right. So if we did that with 5 sellers, we made $200 profit, but we spent $500. We spent $500 total to make $1,000. All right. So now, right? So we gave each seller $100, and we made $200 off of each seller. So in total, over a week, we spent $500 to make $1,000. Now, the end of the week, the end of that first week, what we did, now we're ready to cash out. So now all we're doing is packing the supplies up. All right, packing the supplies up and sending them to the buyer in the mail. The buyer, once the buyer gets the supplies, 2 days later in the mail, right? Once the buyer gets the supplies 2 days in the mail, the buyer will contact us and tell us and confirm payment and send us a total of 1,500, right? The buyer will contact us and send us a total of $1,500, right? So your profit is 1,000, and you get your $500 that you invested into these supplies, right? So I hope this makes sense to you guys, right? So we could recap it. So we put the marketing out. The seller called us, told us what supplies they have. They had 5 boxes of a specific supply. The seller's paying 64, right? They had 5 of them. We're gonna offer something lesser than the 60, and we're gonna offer 20 to the seller, and we're gonna make $40 off each box. Seller had 5 boxes, so um, we're going to pay the seller $100, but our profit is going to be $200, right? So then 1 week later, we met 5 sellers that had the same situation, right? And this is just hypothetically speaking. You're going to meet sellers with different situations, but to make it simple, 5 sellers had the same exact situation. Each seller had 5 boxes of the same supply. We gave them 20. We're selling to the buyer for 60. Our profit on each box is $40. So we gave each seller basically $100, right? Because we spent 500 total to make the 1,000. So we gave each seller $100, and then 5 sellers times 200, $1,000 profit at the during that week. So at the end of the first week, we're just saying, hey, we're ready to get paid. We want to get paid by the buyer. So we're gonna pack the supplies up, send them to the buyer in the mail. Once the buyer gets the supplies in 2 days, once after they get the mail, the buyer's going to contact us and confirm payment and send us a total of 1,500, right? So remember, out of that 1,500, your profit's 1,000. You get your 500 that you invested into these supplies. All right, I believe that math is correct. Let me double check real quick. If we had 5 times 5, 25, 25 times. Yep, that math is correct. All right, guys. So I obviously mentor people, right? I have a course in a mentorship into one, because in this business you're gonna need someone to lean on. You're gonna have tons of questions, right? So you don't want to get a course and then you have all these questions and you can't get them answered. So I have a mentorship and a course all together. So contact me. There's a link in the description below. Contact me, watch my videos, do your due diligence and stuff like that, guys. Awesome business is life changing. These supplies are everywhere, literally everywhere. There's people in this business crushing it, and there's people in this business that will be in your market, same city, and you can go in and make as much money as them, and you can make more. There's just too much money on the table with this business. All right, guys.